Sent that to you where Gasper's resigning.
Yeah, but I had spoken to him after I received your email. He was going to reach out to George Blass and see if they had someone else to fulfill the spot because he didn't want to leave the commission, down an individual. So,
Okay. All right. I mean, by all means, I wasn't expecting him anyways because of his letter.
yeah. So,
Are we ready to begin then?
yeah, I think we're good. We're streaming.
All right. So welcome everybody to the January 28th Brookfield Zoning Commission meeting. That's held regular meeting at 7 p.m. held via Zoom. And obviously, I don't have to say the ID number because if you're on, you know it. Do I have any motion for the previous meetings and anything that we need to discuss on it?
I make a motion to accept the minutes of January 14th, 2021 meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, Fran, you're next.
Yep, it's been pretty quiet with the weather and stuff, but I did receive a complaint for 68 Homestead Lane in Brookfield. It's a condo complex over on Homestead. They had advertised on Facebook that they were renting a downstairs apartment. So I did send a notice of violation to the owner of the apartment in that complex. They immediately reached out to me, indicated to me that there was no apartment there. They invited me over for an inspection. I did go for an inspection. There's a crawl space there. There is no apartment. And therefore that they were trying to rent an apartment that their in-laws had in Danbury, but it was advertised on a Brookfield site. So needless to say, I removed that violation. 71 Stony Hill Road. I was driving by and I did observe two commercial vehicles in the front yard, some irrigation company. Mr. Oliveira reached out to me. I sent him a notice of violation on 113. I gave him to 128 to remove the vehicles. He did call the office on the 22nd, indicating that he wasn't aware of it. He was going to do his best to get the vehicles out of there. He suggested some places. I had given him Val Road as one of the spots close to his property, but he's supposed to have them out of there by the 28th. So I'm going to watch that until the 28th, which is today. So, and if it's not out of there today, then I'll follow back up with him. But he has reached out. And then the last one is 891 Federal Road. This is the house before Newberry Village up there. The contractor's equipment's still up there. Porta potties is still up there. Sent a cease and desist, sent a notice of violation, not getting any response. So I would ask the commission to move this to the citation process, which is going to require a motion from the zoning commission to do so.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to issue a citation for the address he just talked about.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Also note the blight panel is also involved in this too. Blight is involved just as much as I am. He's not responding to anybody. I did do a little research today and he's in the arrears and taxes and stuff. So don't know where this is going to go, but I figure the sooner we move on it, the quicker to recoup something for the town. But otherwise, that's it for my report. So,
Okay. All right. So we're going to go on to 5, the public hearings. And we're going to open up the public hearing for 154. Well, actually, didn't we open up the public hearing for 154 Pocono Road last time?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So this is actually a continued public hearing. All right. So we opened up and we continued it on to this session, and this is for application Z-20-116. And I think we have Antonio Fernandez on the board here, Mary Capiello, Leslie Ruggiero, myself, Eric Cook, Kurt Timmerman, and also Francis Kwok. I think that we only need to elevate one, right, Fran? The voting status? So, Kurt, do you know who was last elevated? I know last time was both of you.
Yeah, that's right. So
Do you know whose turn it is, or?
no. I thought Mary was keeping track of that.
All right, I'll make a motion to elevate Francis Kwok to a voting member of the commission.
And you guys are neck and neck. You're really even. So coin toss today.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 All right, so we opened up the public hearing last time. And I'll read the directions again. Public hearing is only one aspect of the approval process and is for the purposes of accepting factual information and data bearing on this application and to allow expression of opinion by interested parties subsequent to this hearing. The commission has 65 days in which to render a decision on the proposal. The final decision may be in the form of approved as submitted, approved with stipulations, or denied. After reading into record the correspondence received by the commission relative to this application, we'll ask the applicant to present the application in detail. Presentation will be limited to 45 minutes. The chair will then entertain questions of clarification concerning the applicant's presentation. We'll then hear from those who wish to speak in favor, followed by those who are opposed. Comments must be limited to 5 minutes. Members of the public will have one opportunity to speak during the segment of the hearing and may also submit their concerns in writing during the public hearing. During the segment, the commissioners may ask additional questions. The bylaws commission allow only for the presentation of similar positions in succession and preclude the intermixture of comments pro or con. All questions and comments must be directed to the chair. As you're recognized, please state your name and address so your comments may be legally recorded. Please be assured that everyone will be given the opportunity to speak. However, the commission is most interested in hearing factual information relative to the application. In view of the time constraints placed upon us, we ask your indulgence to not reiterate comments previously presented. After your public comments received, the applicant will have the opportunity to comment and the time will be limited to 10 minutes. Are there any questions? Mary, was there any new correspondence? I didn't see any. All right. So if the applicant, for everybody that was not here on the last Zoom call, the applicant decided to come back this week and represent the application or the drawings after we read them, our zoning regulations that stipulates how we calculate the square footage, which needs to be under 800 square feet. So is the applicant online?
Yeah.
Is that you, Danielle?
Yes.
Amelia? All right, would you like to go ahead? We do have your new map or your new drawing.
Okay. Yes.
So go ahead and just give us a brief description, what you want us to do so we can make the record, so everybody else knows exactly what you are asking this commission for.
Okay, we asking to turn our first floor into an accessory apartment. We currently live on the second floor, and we decided to fit the square footage required, eliminate the square footage, which I think you all have a copy of the map that we redraw.
Let's see if I can, is this the one that you're asking the commission to look at?
Yes, that's the one.
Okay, I have a few questions for you. One, I try to calculate the square footage and by our means, and I can't because there's a couple missing, but it does look like it's under 800 square feet. Do you happen to know exactly the square footage?
Yes, 741.
741?
That's the one we're proposing, correct. In the
Okay,
drawing, it has the square footage of the rooms, which we counted for like a blueprint, like you asked last time. And that comes, we eliminated a lot bit more that we expected to fit and actually be under the square footage required.
Okay, but you do understand that we don't do it by room count, we do it by the outside dimension.
Yes.
Okay, and by
That
when I
was
was
counted.
and when I was calculating it, it definitely seems like it's under 800. So I just wanted to know how much square footage. What now? The other part of the building was going to be part of the apartment. What is that going to be now, and how is the doorway separating it?
We're gonna block 2 doors, and I don't have the map on me, but we're gonna block where prior was behind the kitchen, a little small room. We're gonna block that access to the kitchen and make a door on the entryway where we could, as living on the second floor, use as a storage or as a coat closet. We're gonna use it as living on the second floor where we are right now. And being that I'm mostly working from home nowadays, I'm gonna use the other side we're gonna move the entryway a little bit further down and to be able to use the same entry for a home office for myself and my husband on the 2 rooms across from the little room.
Is that on the side of in-law apartment bedroom 2?
It's not gonna have any inside access. It's gonna be totally separate.
No, I understand. I'm just asking if it's on, because there's 2 big rooms that's kind of now part of this drawing that's not empty.
Right.
Is it on that side that is the bedroom 2 for the in-law apartment? Is it butting up to that wall?
Yes, it was a bedroom before where it was contingent to the living room. And we're gonna open a door there. Yes.
All right. Any questions or comments from anybody else on the commission?
Nope, we're good.
Yeah, it looks all right. I calculated about 739 with the dimensions they had on the brick.
Yeah, and I was under 800 also.
When I calculated, I just knew it was under 800, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Go back to. Is there anybody have any questions in the audience of clarification? Is there anybody here that would like to speak in favor of this application? Is there anybody here that would like to speak in opposition of this application? Fran, we didn't see any whatever virtual hand waving.
No, I would like to make a note, though. I mean, obviously, if they're going to be closing off doors and doing work inside, that building permits are obtained by the Brookfield Building Department, and I'd like to verify, upon the issuance of a CO that everything is done according to plan.
Okay. Does the applicant have anything to add? And is it okay if, with what Mr. Lally just stated?
Oh yeah, we're fine. We expect that.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I move that we close the public hearing on Z-20-116, 154 Pocono Road for an accessory apartment.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. So, into the applicant, we might come back around and tonight, I'm sure we will. I'm almost positive because it's a little bit of a shorter zoning meeting tonight. So at the end of the meeting, we can come back around and we can discuss it and possibly vote on it tonight, if you want to stick around. But we have to get through the rest of the agenda before we come back.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, next on our agenda, we have a public hearing for 730 Federal Road, application Z-20-112. This is again, a regular meeting of Brookfield Zoning Commission. At this point in our agenda, we have scheduled a public hearing concerning the application of 730 Federal Road, Z-20-12, a design review for a 6,000 square foot professional medical office and retail building with associated driveway, sidewalks, grading, utilities, and landscaping. Again, the voting members of the commission is myself, Eric Cook, Antonio Fernandez, Francis Kwok, Mary Capiello, and Leslie Ruggiero, with Kurt Timmerman as on the sideline. So first, we'll open this hearing about the legal notice of this hearing. Does anyone have the legal notice in front of them?
Yeah, I do.
Can you read it, Mary, please?
Sure. So it is the new one for today's date. So it was posted on the town website under legal notices. Town of Brookfield, Connecticut 06804, to Town of Brookfield residents, public hearing legal notice from Nina Mack, Land Use Secretary, dated January 15th, 2021, regarding publication on Town of Brookside website. The following public hearing will take place remotely via Zoom conferencing. Please view the agenda for dial in its instructions. Legal notice, the Zoning Commission of Brookfield, Connecticut will hold a public hearing remotely via Zoom, meeting ID number 128-947-054 on Thursday, January 28th, 2021 for 730 Federal Road, Z-20-112. Design review for 6,000 square foot professional / medical office and retail building with associated driveways, sidewalks, grading, utilities, and landscaping. At this hearing, interested persons may appear and be heard, and written communications will be received. Copies of the proposals are on file in the office of the Brookfield Zoning Commission and online. Dated in Brookfield, Connecticut, this January 15, 2021 through January 28, 2021, Brookfield Zoning Commission.
Okay. This application was formally received by the commission. This public hearing is only one aspect of the approval process, and it's for the purposes of accepting factual information and data bearing on this application to allow expression of opinion by interested parties. Subsequent to this hearing, the commission has 65 days in which to render a decision on this proposal. The final decision may be in form of approved as submitted, approved with stipulations, or denied. After reading into record the correspondence received by the commission relative to this application, you ask the applicant to present the application in detail. The presentation should be limited to 45 minutes. Chair will then entertain questions of clarification concerning the applicant's presentation. We'll hear from those who wish to speak in favor of the application, followed by those who are opposed. Comments must be limited to 5 minutes. Members of the public will have one opportunity to speak during the segment of the hearing and may also submit their questions in writing during the public hearing. During this segment, the commissioners may ask additional questions. By bylaws, the commission allow only for presentation of similar positions in succession, preclude the intermixture of comments pro or con. All questions and comments must be directed to the chair. As you're recognized, please state your name and address so your comments may be legally recorded. Please be assured that everyone will be given the opportunity to speak. However, the commission is most interested in hearing factual information relative to this application. And in view of the time constraints placed upon us, we ask your indulgence in not reiterating comments previously presented. After the public comments are received, the applicant will have the opportunity to comment, and the time will be limited to 10 minutes. Are there any questions? Mary, can you read the correspondence on this one back into record?
Yep.
Record.
Okay, so the formal letter from Inland Wetlands dated October 16th, 2020 to Mr. Paul Scalzo, 730 Federal Road, LLC, 2 Stony Hill Road, Suite 201, Bethel, Connecticut, 06801. The heading is 730 Federal Road, W-20-35, Office and Retail Development. Dear Mr. Scalzo, approve the stipulation plans, CCA plans with an original date of 8/18/2020 and a revision date of 9/9/2020 with sheets C5 through C7 having a revision date of 10/5/2020. On October 13th, 2020, the Inland Wetlands Commission approved with stipulation the following motion regarding your application. M. Newstead made a motion to approve 730 Federal Road, W-20-35, based on a plan from CCA with an original date of 8/18/2020 and a revision date of 10/5/2020, with the stipulation that the silt fence shown at the south border of the property marks the permanent line of disturbance with all the usual stipulations to be effective the date after publication. D. Frankel seconded the motion and it carried unanimously. Your permit will be effective on October 17th, 2020, one day after publication on the town website. Conditions of the permit that must be met before regulated activity may commence include: 1, sign the enclosed assumption of responsibility and return to the land use office. 2, install erosion control measures per approved plan. Stakes for silt fence should be placed 10 feet apart and fencing towed in continuously along its length. 3, schedule an erosion control inspection appointment before commencement of the permitted activity by calling the land use office. 4, post bond if required. 5, provide confirmation that the line of no disturbance is marked with 3 concrete monuments at the 469.5 line on the house side of the swale. 6, provide proof that the silt fence shown at the south border of the property marks a permanent line of disturbance. Your wetlands permit will be mailed to you after the inspection, receipt of the signed assumption of responsibility, receipt of the filtration system specifications, and posting of the bond if required. Please feel free to call the land use office if you have any questions. Very truly yours, Sharon Fox, Chairman, Inland Wetlands Commission. Then there was from the town, just on the another approval from Alice Dew that Inland Wetlands approved it per W-20-35 on the 13th. From WPCA, Krista McPadden wrote, applicant will need to apply to the WPCA for a sewer connection permit. Property was never assessed, but is on the sewer service map labeled as future anticipated. Depending on timing, a benefit assessment or 2% connection charge will be issued once a CO is issued for the new building. In reviewing the utility plan submitted with this application, the sewer line does not match the approved sewer extension plan issued to 37 Old Route 7. If 730 Federal Road wants to put the sewer as stated on the utility plan, 37 Old Route 7 will need to come back before the WPCA for a permit amendment. Also, the building connection at 730 Federal Road will need to have a manhole at the property line. Please call our office at 203-775-7319 if you have any questions. Then Department of Public Works said, Ralph Tedesco said, access from Laurel Hill Road will require a driveway permit from DPW. If the sewer extension is part of this project, an excavation permit from DPW will be required to work on Laurel Hill Road. And from the police, dated November 6th, from James Purcell, no significant traffic related concerns with this proposed office/retail building. Developers should ensure that plantings to either side of the access driveway do not obstruct sight lines for vehicles exiting the driveway onto Laurel Hill Road. Snow removal should likewise be organized so as not to deposit mounds of snow that would obstruct clear sightline views for exiting vehicles. And that's all I have.
Okay, is the applicant prepared to present his application?
Yes, sir. For the record, this is, my name is Nick Yuschak, Y-U-S-C-H-A-K. I'm a registered landscape architect with CCA Engineering at 40 Old New Milford Road in Brookfield. Tonight, I am representing the applicant, 730 Federal Road, LLC, for their property at 730 Federal Road. This is located at the corner of Federal Road, which is 202, and Laurel Hill Road. And if I might share the screen, I could bring the site plan up for you.
I'll just make you a co-host. Just give me 1 second.
Okay, thank you.
You should be all set.
Okay, thank you. The applicant is proposing a single-story, 6,000 square foot total building. This is a professional and medical office building and retail building. The breakdown is 3,000 square feet will be professional office. 1,770 square feet will be medical office, and 1,230 square feet is proposed to be retail. There is one proposed driveway on Laurel Hill Road, which is to the right of the site plan, running east-west. There are a total of 36 parking spaces, including 2 handicap spaces. There are 20 required, and we're providing 36. There is one loading area to the southwest, or your upper left-hand side of the site. There's also a refuse area there.
Can you hang on 1 second? Can anyone else in the commission see the screen?
No, the screen didn't get shared.
No, you're not seeing it.
Great.
Any luck now?
No.
You know, just your name is showing. I wonder if your video has started.
Okay, let's try this again.
There we go.
Yeah,
Now
much better.
Yep.
Much better. Thank you for pointing that out. Let me switch over to sheet C5, which is the landscape plan. It shows more features. So anyway, I was just mentioning the loading area and the refuse area up at the corner of the site. This would be your upper left-hand corner, which is the southwest corner of the site. And this will also be surrounded by a 6-foot-high solid fence enclosure with a gate. We are providing sidewalks and on-grade building entries to the west and the south of the building. There is a proposed patio on the east side of the building. That's on the Route 202 side in the southeast corner of the building. There is a retaining wall and guardrail up to the west. That's at the top of your sheet. There is Aquarian water at Laurel Hill Road and town sewer at Federal Road via Laurel Hill Road. WPCA has actually approved the permit. This happened yesterday. The overall site is 3.2 acres. And this is in the town center district zone. It's basically an undeveloped forested lot. There is a large wetland to the south, which will not be developed. There's at least 360 feet of existing vegetation to remain to the south. There's also a smaller wetland to the west that's up at the top right-hand side of your sheet as you're looking at it. The landscape plan, sheet C5, which we are looking at now. Let's zoom in on this a little more closely. This was prepared by CCA LLC, and it meets all the front yard buffer requirements of 6 to 25 foot landscape buffer along Laurel Hill Road and Federal Road. So these have all been met by our landscape plan. And within the interior of the site, we have shade trees in the parking lot islands, understory flowering trees dispersed for smaller scale and color, and shrubs as foundation plantings and island accents along the building and the patio to the east. And the remainder will be lawn. Over by the wetland to the west, we are introducing mitigation plantings along the edge of the wetland. So these are all native, and these are all wetland mitigation plantings. So these are basically at the edge and in the understory to the west of the parking area and the driveway. Finally, the lighting. We have lighting along Laurel Hill Road. This is per the Brookfield streetscape standards. We have options for banner arms, planter arms, and also along Laurel Hill Road, we have sidewalks that meet the standards for the streetscape. Interior lighting complements the street lighting. It's a Sternberg's traditional style fixture, and there's wall mounted building lights. Any questions?
Nope. Is that your application?
We also have a building rendering, which we showed last time. This is what the one-story office building will look like. You're actually looking from the west, the front of the building here. The other side would be what you would see if you're looking at the building from the east. So moving from the foundation up, we have a thin stone veneer. There will be vinyl siding, vinyl windows, PVC shadow boards, and PVC corner boards. And finally, the top of the building will be an asphalt architectural roof shingle treatment. And that is the application.
Is there any questions from any of the commissioners?
Kurt Zimmerman here. And what's the length of construction, would you think, from breaking ground to finish?
Perhaps the applicant would
Yeah,
like to
I'm
chime
on
in.
the phone. Paul Scalzo, 32 Torrey Lane, Brookfield, Connecticut. Well, the building has to be done by November 30th, per the tenant, the lease we have. We have half the building leased. So we plan to start as soon as we can get all permits and everything in place. So I would say it's going to go from April to November.
Paul, this is Frank Woke. The last time you and Mr. Yushak were here in front of the commission, Greg Dombowski, I believe, was also on the call, and he had asked about the coordination of the timelines, about the streetscape work and your work. Have you had conversations with Greg about coordinating that?
I have not, only from the aspect I know he's working on it, but I wasn't sure of his timeline as of yet. And if he did, he may not have spoken to me. I only spoke to him once, but we will coordinate with him however we have to get it done. I mean, we have on my fingers, I think it's 9 months for us to deliver this from April, deliver the building. So during that time period, as long as he's ready to go, we'll be ready to go because we'll be going into the good season. So, but I have not coordinated to ask your question, Frank.
Okay. Mr. Chair, does Greg need to contact Mr. Scalzo directly or go through us to make sure that's coordinated, or do we even touch on that at all?
Greg is handling that straight with the applicant. It does not need to go through us.
Okay.
So, they have to be in accordance with the streetscape and everything else that the town has in our regulations.
If I can intercede for 1 second, I believe Greg has a meeting possibly with Board of Finance, or there's a presentation for some streetscapes coming up next week, if I remember right. So from what I was told in the office, so.
Thanks, Fran.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Fran.
Any other questions from the zoning commission? All right, is there anybody in the audience that has any questions of clarification?
Yes, I do.
And your name and
My
name
name is
address,
Kevin Gallagher. I'm at 47 Old Route 7. We're an abutting property owner. I'm trying to get an idea of exactly how close the total build is. That is, the parking lot, everything included, is going to be to our property line. I was trying to tell that from what I was looking at on the screen, and I can't tell that.
so can the applicant answer that question, please?
I will switch to the layout plan. I'm trying to zoom in on the dimension to the west property line. So at the northwest corner, we're looking at a distance of a little in excess of 99 feet.
Okay, and that is from the edge of the parking area to our property line?
That is from the corner of the building to the property line, and you're probably looking at, if you hang on a moment, I'll put a scale on a drawing that I had nearby. From the edge of the driveway, that would be, we're looking at about 40 feet there.
Okay, I'm asking only because we're going to have Mr. Scalzo's project here and also his homes up on the other side. We're on either side of us are going to be building projects, and I'm concerned about the lighting. I know the lighting on the housing stuff is going to be horrific coming into our backyard, but on this project, I just want to find out what kind of fencing and such you're going to have to keep any kind of light pollution from coming into our backyard.
Can I interject? Hey, Nick, it's Paul Scalzo, 32 Torrey Lane Commission. You've got the wrong property. His property is south of.
Oh,
yeah, his property. You have to scale a map from your line there all the way to Kevin's property. Kevin's
Over-
property.
over-
It's the Dockenhauser property. So
This
you're
is-
gonna need a ruler to
Yeah,
scale
so I
that.
can't get a fix on where we are in here, and I'm trying to figure out the logistics.
Are
Easy.
we,
No,
are we, speaking of this corner,
Okay,
yeah,
that
Yep.
is in excess of 360 feet.
okay, so I'm not gonna have to worry about lighting issues then.
No, no, sir. This is entirely wooded. This will remain.
Okay,
And also to answer a question on the lighting, these are what are called sharp cutoff. That means there's no light trespass. All the light shines downward.
okay, perfect. I was just concerned because I couldn't tell by how close it was to our home, but it's in excess of 300 feet?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, no problem then. Okay,
Is there any other questions of clarification? Okay, now we're going to hear, anybody want to speak in favor of this application? Does anyone want to speak in opposition to this application? Was there any hands raised, Fran? Can you tell? No? Do I have a motion?
I move that we close the public hearing, Z-20-112, 730 Federal Road, for construction of a 6,000 square foot professional/medical office building with associated driveways, sidewalks, grading, utilities, and landscaping.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. And
Aye.
again, to the applicant and whoever else is listening, we'll probably come back around to this, talk about it later in our agenda. We just have to continue forward with our agenda. Fran, is there any way we can get our screen back?
There's something that I need to do.
Well, I think we could take it, can't we, Fran?
No.
All right, there we go.
Here, let me close out. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies.
Thank you. All right, so back onto our agenda. Now we are on to old business, which is Federal Road, application Z-20-126, which is a site plan modification to add PV solar flat on roof of 2 buildings. Last time the applicant was not present, so we continued it to this one. Is the applicant present?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, I can. And we could see and hear you. Your name and address for the record, sir?
Yeah, Dwayne Escola at 52 Katuna Street in Ridgefield.
Okay, and can you just let us know what you're looking for the commission to vote on tonight?
Yeah, I'm representing David Lesesky, and he's the owner of the 3 buildings. Actually, there's a house on there too, 500 Federal Road. And on 2 of the buildings, we're planning to put some solar panels.
And that's in accordance with the one drawing that you submitted to the commission?
Yes.
Fran, did you take a look at this?
I have, yes, yeah, yes.
Does it meet all our, I looked at the regs, it seems to meet all our regulations, does it?
It does, yes, yeah. He'll have to go through building permits anyway, but yes.
Right. Any questions from any of the commissioners?
Pretty straightforward.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the application for 500 Federal Road Z-20-126. Site plan modification to add PV solar flat on roof of 2 buildings.
Is there any discussion? I'm sorry, second, any discussion? No, all in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, so now we're on to new business.
I'm sorry, who was the second there?
I think the second was Mary Capiello.
Mary,
Thank you.
We're on to new
Randy, you're
business.
all set.
7A. 70 Candlewood Lake Road, application Z-21-5, site plan modification for an outdoor deck, 12 by 16 for White Turkey Deli. Is someone for the applicant online?
Yes,
Okay, can you give your name and address for the record, please?
yeah, Puran Basdeo, 29 North Nabi Road in Danbury.
Okay, and what are you asking for today?
So I'm looking to put a outside seating for customers in the deli. It's a 12 by 16 deck. We're gonna put a couple tables on there, 2 or 3 tables, and some chairs.
Okay, and this is on the side that's facing Nabby Road, correct?
Yeah, actually, it's not. Yeah, part of it, yeah, is on that side, Nabi
It's
Road.
on that corner of Nabby Road, not on Candlewood Lake Road.
No, it's on the side road.
Okay, and that's sloped down there, right?
Where the deck is, it's flat. Pretty
Oh, it
much.
is flat. Okay.
Yeah,
I
the
thought you were going to make your deck flat anyways, but I just know that that's basically been unusable space for you right now, or is that driveway?
that corner is unusable. It slopes down a little there, but then it's a flat in the back parking, like a parking area.
Okay. And Fran, it meets all our setbacks, correct?
Yes, it does. Yep.
And for the commission and audience, this is a building that prior to a meeting about 2 months ago, the Nimers or White Turkey Deli, I mean, it's been there since I've been here, which is at least 45 years.
Since 1955, it's been open there.
So it's actually older than me. So that's perfect. This one, when we wrapped up into our zoning, it got put back into residential, and they wanted to go for this deck during COVID for the outside dining, and they weren't able to because we made them residential. This is one of the things that we put this building along with a few others back into where they should be, so they can do things just like this. And obviously, with COVID not going away, I mean, we already know that the governor extended everything to now end of April. And, we all know that outdoor dining and social distancing is going to be a part of our life for the very, very near and far future, from what I'm guessing. So obviously, this also seems to be a business necessity for these places. So with that, do I have a motion? All right.
I move that we approve Z-21-5, 70 Candlewood Lake Road for an outdoor deck, 12 by 16 foot in size.
Do I have a second?
Second.
So it's Leslie Ruggiero, second, and any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, congratulations. That's passed. You can see Fran. When Fran? In like 3 days?
Yeah, well, I'll stop and see you tomorrow, or I'll reach out to you, Paran, because you have to go for a building permit next. So
yeah, okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Oh, the outdoor dining I skipped over by accident. But it still continued until February, and I just want to make a note to everybody. I don't know if they saw that the continuation of the executive order is now out until the end of February. So all the executive orders is still continuing out. So I personally want to make sure we leave it on there. We might see the tents and everything come back up because this could be continuing all the way through the spring and summer. Our next thing on the business on the agenda is nomination and election of the commission officers for the 2021 calendar year. We skipped over it last meeting. Do I have any motions for a slate of officers?
I nominate the same slate that's currently in place now.
Do I have a second?
Second.
That would be, I think Frank Clark just beat Leslie to it by a moment. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. We're on to the informal discussion. Is there somebody here for 83 Federal Road, discussion of proposed food truck?
Hi, that's me. Thank you for having me. My name is Alexandra. Yeah, so I have a.
Alexander, we just need your last name and address for the record as well.
Sure. Yeah, of course. Alexandra Jagiello, 83 Federal Road. Okay. So I also was hoping to be able to share my screen briefly, if that's possible.
I think
Sure,
Alex.
give me 1 second. Yeah. And you should be all set now.
Thank you. All right. Okay, so yeah, so our proposed plan is to basically add a food truck to the property here at 83 Federal Road. So it's currently a gas station. It has 6 self-service pumps here. It also has a convenience store that's rented out and a body shop that serves like minor repairs and whatnot. So we were hoping to be able to get a food truck added to the property in order to bring in a bit more customers and also just, you know, finance for the location itself. So we have 2 options that we're thinking about proposing depending upon what the commission board thinks is a better idea, basically. So this is obviously informal. We haven't submitted the application yet. So once we get feedback, or once I get feedback from you guys, I will be able to like make a better decision of where the truck should be located. So this would be option 1. So if you're driving down Federal Road, this is like where it would be located, with options to essentially kind of extend this cement area if necessary. We could remove this soil if we need to. But yeah, so right now this would be what it looks like. Currently there's spots for 15 cars to park on the site, with 1/3 of them designated for handicapped vehicles. So I just kind of made a little bit of diagram so you could see what that would look like. The best case scenario I think would be if we would be, you know, funneling in traffic from Gray's Bridge with enough ability for people to pull in comfortably and safely, and then have the food truck over here on the west end of the lot. And then the alternative option to that would be having the food truck next to this entrance here on Gray's Bridge Road. So we have like all of this property. We can extend the parking lot onto this. Right now it's just like a piece of grass essentially. And then again, we have like the parking area around the lot. So that's the idea. And I would love to hear feedback from all of you.
All right. First off, Fran, did you take a look to see if that's allowed in this?
Yeah, I mean, I know we've had discussions about food trucks before. I don't see an issue why, you know, we couldn't allow it there. I know we did approve one behind the property over on Gray's Bridge.
On Gray's Bridge, yeah. I just want to make sure I didn't take a look at the regs. I think your food truck option 1 to me.
Yeah.
And again, this is not binding or anything else. It's up to you how you want to make your application, and each of the commissioners can weigh in on their own. But that option 1 to me, I feel is dangerous. For the main fact is that it's a very busy road, and someone sees the food truck, they're going to automatically stop. I think it's also going to, people naturally pull up to the food truck and their cars come up. I think it's going to create, I don't think the parking lot, I know that gas station very well. I don't think that parking lot's going to be able to handle the backup or people standing in there. So if there's any option you're going to do, I would have to say it would have to go into the rear, your food option 2. And then you're going to check to make sure you have now enough parking and everything else that goes along for it. With that option 2, me personally, I wouldn't be averse to saying no to this. You know, it could possibly work for me, but I have a very serious concern just about safety. And I also know that and I don't know how it affects your property, but the the road is going to be widening there, and we're going to have a sidewalk, which is going to take even more away, right, Fran?
It's not going down that far.
Oh, it's not going down that far?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. So, but yeah, I still have a concern with it just on the side because of parking and also people just seeing it and stopping. There's already people that are, when they come on there versus going right and going out there, it's a little crazy. So I'd hate to put something right there that creates even more.
Sure.
Any of the other members want to weigh in?
Hi, yeah, Kurt Timmerman here. The one thing that caught my attention is your plan perhaps to go into the grass area and extend the parking area, but there are buffer zone requirements in the commercial district. And I would be, you'd have to measure, but I'd be afraid you wouldn't get the 25 feet to Grays Bridge Road, for instance, in order to do that. Or even on the north side, where you originally wanted to put your first option,
Yeah.
Extending towards the property line with macadam might not be allowed per zoning regs because we have buffer zone requirements, and you can see some of those in section 6 of the zoning regs. Those are general standards for all the different zones. They have landscaping, signage, and everything else. Yeah, and my other concern echoes chairman's is the safety aspect, because people, this is a lot of cars traveling around to go into the pumps and away from them. So if anything, option 2, where it's in the back, kind of away from the regular flow of traffic, is more amenable than the one where it's near Federal Road.
What's what would be your proposed hours that you want to operate this food truck, and would it be parked on location full time?
We would definitely want to be able to move it around, just in case it needs to, we wouldn't want to have to make it stationary. It would be great to be able to move it around. However, the proposed hours, I assume, would be, I don't know them for sure right now, but I'm guessing that to give you an idea, it would be the same hours that are operated within the body shop, which would be about 9 to 6 or something like that. Obviously, this is flexible. I don't have this information set in stone yet. Do you have a recommendation for hours or something like that?
With food trucks, we kind of don't want to see them there all the time and operating just when they can. So me personally, I like to see hours. Usually, food trucks are more for lunch and early dinner, and then they're kind of shut down. So I was just curious what you were asking for.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's good to know.
I just want to mirror what the other two commissioners explained, that safety was my number one concern when you started with option 1. Being in the back makes me more comfortable, but also what Kurt was explaining to you about, you seem willing to want to expand the parking, and it's good that Kurt cautioned you that it would be, I think, expensive, but also difficult and maybe not even possible. And I encourage you to read our regs and make sure that you can't, where you can park a food truck. And I can tell you that you will run into issues if you think you can just put it on the grass, which you wouldn't know that unless you spoke with us or read the regs, but you would run into issues there. So I commend you for coming before us and asking these questions, but safety is my number one issue here because of where it is. And exactly like our chair explained, that the location of this property, it's so busy that if you have people jerking their heads, it's dangerous. And also, it's also about the foot traffic. If you have it in position 1 and you have people parking in one corner of the property and walking over, and just by design, it's a gas station, you have people driving through constantly, that would be a concern as well.
So do you have any other questions as commission? I mean, I think you have a feeling that position 1 is not very looked upon favorably. Position 2, you're going to have to really want to check out your parking and making sure you can do it with your regs, because that would be the concern. I think that there's you can get a feeling of the board that they're not against the food truck. We're more concerned with safety and just our regulations. So if you can make it work, I invite you to come back with an application.
Okay.
Well, I have one last comment, and this goes with signage because this particular mobile, they've had regulation violations on signage. For example, those 2 derelict Volvos with signs on them that are still there. So if a food truck goes in there, I want the rest of the site. It would be nice to see it cleaned up. And I wouldn't want it to degrade into extra signs all over the place, like say feather flags and things like that. That's we have some pretty strict signage regulations. Not super strict, but we don't want it to be too many signs, and we want it to look nice.
Definitely, I agree.
And by all means, your property, which is good for you, is one of the first properties that people see when they come off the highway and they head to our beautiful Costco's. That seems to be a very good tourist place. So, I mean, that by cleaning it up and making it look good, I think, you'll even get a more favorable approach from this commission.
Noted. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night. If that's all you need.
Yes, that's it. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay. All right. 470 Federal Road, discussion requested by Francis Lawley.
Yes, Allison, could you share that image that I sent you, please?
Sure, just give me 1 minute to pull it up.
Sure. Kurt, this is what you and I discussed.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. 470, Fran, is that the new restaurant, the new building?
No, this is just north of where Del Primo is, and
Okay.
Same property, different building.
different building, yeah.
It's where the Dollar General store is going, or is
Oh,
going,
okay.
or whatever. Yeah.
Gotcha. But the same plaza.
No,
No,
One
it is the
plaza
same
north.
plaza. You drive in and you go right instead of left.
oh, you can go right. Yeah, there's nothing there yet, but
Yeah, yeah. So this building is on that same property. It just has the next address up,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, because you can't go anywhere else. There's a cemetery to the right of that.
To the right of it.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So I was asked by Nick Uschlak from CCA, who's online too, on this building. I don't know if Allison, if you can zoom in on the left-hand side. I guess there's piers there with an overhang on this building. There's designated parking there on the left-hand side and on the front of the building. That yellow highlighted line, I believe, is the roof line. And you can see those little dots. Those are pillars for a roof overhang.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is in our regulations, it says a landscape buffer shall be provided between any building and parking area access drive, which may contain a sidewalk with the balance of buffer planted with trees, shrubbery, or ground cover. The requirements shall not apply to any driveway paving or providing access to an internal garage or loading area. So the question raised to me was, are they required to do landscaping even though it's going to be covered from an overhang?
That's interesting because I was looking at the regs in that particular thing. And then I was looking to the left at the Del Primo building, and to the north end, the right side, there is a landscape buffer. It's like 10 feet or something. In the front where there's parking, there's no landscape buffer. And then to the other end there is. And I see those words, but when I look at some of the other pictures, examples of landscape buffers, which is a couple pages later, they talk about building separation strip / walkway, as if the sidewalk is part of the safety separation from the people and the parking. So that's part of it. And then one other thing I should bring up in that same, this is page 138 of our regs, 6.3 A.2. And the last sentence says, the commission may approve alternate landscape treatments consistent with the purpose and intent of these standards. Some of those standards being to buffer this property from the neighboring property, and then also to have greenery and shrubbery, to make it more pleasing and everything. So, which are right above it, the purpose and design principles. So we have some leeway to make decisions on this, and I, from what I understand, your question and the discussions, Fran, was that nothing's going to grow under there with this overhang there because it's blocking all the sunlight.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we got to use some sort of reasonability because otherwise we got dead shrubs.
Yeah, and that doesn't look as good.
No. So when you read it, Kurt, you're seeing that we actually have some ability to use judgment.
Yes. And in this case, we might say, hey, there's that big, what's that round thing coming out to the left where it says 16.49 feet to building setback? That's probably a planting area there. We put a little tree there or something. Is that concrete or is that actual raised area?
It says loading area.
No, right below that. See the curve?
That oval?
Yeah.
Half oval that comes out, looks like a diving board type of deal.
Exactly.
Right. I think that's just part of the I can't.
It looks like maybe an island, maybe a landscaped island.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. So, I mean, if we say, hey, you should put we can put something in place somewhere else in order to provide some of this greenery or something. So there's the leeway we have to make something reasonable. So I would say, there's something we could do to offset. Okay, yeah, there can't be a buffer there. And I think on any of these, this is for commercial areas, it's good to have that because some of these designs don't lend themselves to try to squeeze in greenery, and if it's too narrow, it's going to die anyway. The heat from the concrete surrounding it's going to overwhelm anything that's planted there.
Right.
So
also, the salt, snow removal.
Yeah, exactly. Now, in lieu of that, because some of this is design aesthetics, instead of just concrete, we could say, concrete with a nice brick border or a different color border or something to make it look nice, even though it doesn't have shrubbery. Those are sort of other options we could employ in lieu of, this actual, the general landscape standards on the regs.
Well, I think, the word general is key there.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone, but it is for most.
Right.
So I'm glad that we have some room in there to for something like this that we can move stuff and say, hey, listen, this is where you need to put your green.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I think as a commission, we could come to a reasonable solution if they brought it in front of us for this building. And in fact, I thought we already approved a plan was it slightly different than this one? Or was that ZBA? I don't know who it went in front of.
Yeah, I don't remember. Nick, are you still online?
Yes, I am, Fran. I believe this was approved, but I don't think there was a colonnade present on the plan. And your answer to your question about that protrusion over to the left, I don't have the site plan in front of me, but I believe that was a landscape island.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Does that sum that up, Fran? Or?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
All right. So is the commission ready to go back to look at the public hearings?
Thanks, Allison.
Okay. So we're on to back to 5A 154 Pocono Road, application Z-20-116. The applicant definitely came back and they They did what we asked them. They got it under the 800 square feet in accordance with our regulation. My concerns about what was going down with the rest of that floor was answered to, at least to my satisfaction. I do like that we put in there that they need to have their building CO and permits for whatever they have, with Fran getting the last look at it, just to make sure that what was put in front of this commission is what is going to be there.
Yep.
Does anybody else have anything to add?
I agree with you.
Okay.
No.
So I make a motion to approve application Z-20-116, 154 Pocono Road, single family conversion for approximately, but under 800 square feet accessory apartments, approximately 740. They have to get the proper permits and COs from building. And when the final CO is issued, Fran, our CEO, our ZEO enforcement officer, also will sign off on it to ensure that the plans that were submitted are the plans that are the CO and permitted for.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Danielle, Miss Amelia. You're approved. You can get in touch with Fran probably on Monday, right, Fran?
Or tomorrow, yeah.
Tomorrow. All right.
Tomorrow. Thank
And
you.
then you obviously have to go to the building department for everything else.
Yep.
All right, so on to 730 Federal Road, application Z-20-112. I'd like to reiterate what I spoke before, that I believe that this building is what we are looking for, the medical building, at least half its medical building / we don't, one tenant's ready to go in. With the way that they prepare for our town center is exactly the type of buildings that we're looking for in our town center. So again, I commend the applicant for working with the town as they do, to make sure that our streetscapes and everything that they build is still looking for in conjunction with the way the rest of the street centers and the center of town looks. Does anybody else want to add anything or discuss?
I second that. And like you said, it's a nice entrance to our downtown area. It's a good addition. And it'll be a nice addition to the other side there where the supermarket's going in. And the way they designed it, and it's just because the wetlands are there, but it's a nice buffer to that residential house on the other side there. So they got the woods are staying. So there's some softness, and then enter into our village area. So it looks nice.
Right. And I like that it's also, it's not multi-levels.
Yeah.
So we're coming into something that's a little bit more flatter, and we're not opening up to a thing. So it's a nice, like, I think what you're saying, it's a nice transition into the center of town, even though it's still part of the same thing. It's what we were looking for with the Gateway North and the Gateway South, and we're still transitioning. So I like the way that it transitions.
Yeah.
Do we know who the tenant is or anything about the tenant?
No, just that it's, obviously medical. And they got half the building already rented out.
Beautiful. Yeah. It has me questioning about how others in the area are saying that they're having a hard time filling their commercial space when others are building it,
Well, I mean, look right now at medical. You're in you kind of like with what you're doing with personal injury and everything else. I mean, in COVID, the medical is way up, and the need for, I think it's medical and warehouse space is way up. I just heard something, Tony, you still get the things from the title agencies, the title companies?
Yeah.
Reports. There's one that just came out, which is interesting actually for the commission too, that they're saying that the millennials that are coming out of the city, they're actually now taking over larger buildings, and they want to live now communal. And they're kind of combining their space with shared office space, shared living space, and everything else, where I'm like, wow, that is so not Brookfield. But they're saying that they're coming out of the cities into places like our towns. And that's what they're looking for because they still want to be around people.
The college experience.
I guess, yeah, never giving it up. But it is interesting. But yeah, you're right. There's some spaces that's well needed, and there's other spaces. I think office space right now is kind of tough unless it's shared office space.
I think this will help start a chain reaction. I hope, this goes in, those duplexes behind it will be built, the people will be there. As other developers see stuff coming in, then it might help them pull the trigger, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kurt. Hey, you know what? Town of Brookfield will be now known for burgers, furniture, and medical.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, do I have a motion? I'll make a motion to approve 730 Federal Road application Z-20-112 as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, I think that's it, unless Fran, you got anything else to add?
No.
Uh-oh. It sounds like-
No. You remember AR Builders? They did a presentation about the enclave and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I'm under the assumption now, or what I'm hearing is that they're looking at the barnyard. So negotiations are going on for the barnyard. So that application may be coming back to us or not, but I'm not sure. But I had discussion with the property owner yesterday, the current property owner, and I guess believe they're close to going into contracts.
Oh.
So.
Good. We need to clean that area up.
Yeah. Speaking of that, the Newberry Village had put a lot of requests into the Blight Committee for all the properties, it seems like, up and down the road that are not developed yet. The barnyard, the enclave, the people right next door, Beverly's Antiques. So I think that looks just fine.
Peter's Imports.
Yeah.
The house with a tree on it. I know.
Oh, that.
Who owns that? I was told that was owned by the bowling alley.
No, Ed McCarty.
Is it its own lot?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, what's that, Tony?
It's not the same property that we were looking at before, the enclave, that they want to build on, the AR Builders?
Yeah, they're not going to be going on that property now.
Okay.
No.
We really do. Hopefully that Gateway North, we kind of changed it a little bit so that it could be more open since it's heading to New Milford. I definitely want to see something going up there because it's kind of like the part of Brookfield that doesn't look like it matches Brookfield right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sort of forgotten up there.
It really
And what
is.
changed their minds?
Well, Newberry Inn went for the variance. I don't know if you're aware of that. They went for the variance for the density, the amount of units.
Right.
Yeah.
We only got them so far.
They were approved. Yeah. So.
Good. I want anybody that can build something nice and make it nicer, especially right there, because that's kind of in the middle, isn't it? Kind of go a little way, then there's a middle, then go up there. Hopefully, what's the thing? You put out nice lights and everything else attracts better moss.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll attract more people to that area.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of property up there.
There is.
Yeah.
Where is this property exactly? Is this on just past the center?
Which one?
The barnyard that they're talking about developing.
Oh yeah, the white building on the right.
857 A Federal Road.
Isn't that the one that used to sell all the
the shed?
Yeah, sheds and gazebos.
We have to move.
Is it right across from the bowling alley?
No, a little further down.
No, a little further north.
Up.
No.
Oh, I see. Okay, I looked it up. I know what we're talking about now. All right. It's in the same vicinity, but a little further down. I still am very excited that they're coming to Brookfield. Those guys are going to do a great job in our town.
Oh, I would definitely.
Yeah.
But like I think we talked about a couple weeks ago, we want to be able to work with them so that they just don't get approved, but they build it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we need things to be built so that, you know, we're built and we can be done with it. And welcome back, Tony. You look very well rested from the last couple times we've seen you.
Yeah.
So I hope fatherhood's treating you well.
Yeah, 2 girls is good. I gotta say, I'm very happy, but
That's great.
I'm still not getting a lot of sleep, but I'm happy.
Yeah, well, you know what? You'll get some sleep when they're from 5 to 12, and then you're not going to sleep again. But for a completely different reason.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it.
Anything else, Fran, or anybody?
No, I have nothing.
Okay.
Leslie, I know you love this part.
Take us home.
I'll do it. All right. Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Good night, guys.
Bye.
All right,
Good night, guys.